What's going on, everybody? This be your boy DJ Anonymous with Sports Biz Music, the podcast episode 26, and I got a special guest. I got a up and coming. I don't want to say up and coming because you got a lot of projects, but
yeah.
I have Dabley straight out of Hialeah. What's going on with you, bro?
What's good? How you doing, DJ Anonymous?
Doing good, man. Just grinding, man.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that you have a fan base, but it's still some people that has yet to know who you are, that have discovered you. So you tell like a little brief history about yourself.
Yeah, dude, definitely. First off, I actually coined this term like the other day. I feel like the genre of music I make is called soul hop. Soul hop. Mixture of hip hop and soul shit.
I can hear that because like I said, it's different. From what I heard.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I like about it too, is that it's really unique. Like I don't think anyone sounds like me. But basically, I've been doing this for almost 3 years, actually recording for 3 years. And I've been doing music, like I was telling you earlier, since I could remember. I was in chorus in elementary school. Middle school, I did musical theater. So I was on stage singing, dancing, doing all that bullshit. I joined band in 8th grade, so I learned how to play saxophone. And I switched to the French horn, which I still play to this day. I get gigs to play and shit, which is really cool. This is like extra pocket money.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah, bro. And basically, I've been writing songs since I was in middle school too, so I kind of just made a fusion of everything that I knew. Which I knew I loved music, but I didn't really know which direction I wanted to take. So I kind of started just writing my own songs in my adult life. Like 18, I started, and I met these boys, SoFlo Records, which we were really low key at the time, and it was just like 5 of us, and now we got a team of like 15 people. Not all artists, of course, but like. We've got CFO, CEO, managing money and stuff, because we do make money.
Yeah. And
it's really cool. I mean, I don't know if that was detailed enough, but it's just basically a hodgepodge of music.
So how old you was when you first started listening to music and got the love for it?
Oh, damn. Dude, ever since I was young, super young, bro. I remember we used to have this record player in my house.
Yeah.
And my parents would always be playing different types of music, bro. My parents have a vinyl collection, bro, that is so fucking huge, bro. Crates and crates of vinyls. And I'd be listening to shit from musicals to Van Halen, Pink Floyd, a lot of rock. Like, not much hip-hop. I don't think any hip-hop, actually. And I didn't really start listening to hip-hop till, the end of high school. So I was, kind of a late bloomer. Yeah. Okay. Just because I was studying classical music, I was playing classical music all the time. That's what I was listening to on my spare time, like fucking Mozart and shit that, which is cool. I appreciate it, but it kind of led me in a different direction. And so, yeah, bro, ever since I was really young, fucking 80s rock, bro. That's, basically my whole, discography of shit that I knew, was, 80s rock. And, some church songs here and there, some jazz songs here and there, but it was mostly that. And then when I got out of high school, I started listening to a lot of hip-hop, J. Cole, the usual, Kendrick Lamar, shit like that. Who else I be listening to? Fucking Kid Cudi, Drake, of course,
Kid Cudi also I can hear in your music, too.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, Kid Cudi, a lot of people always name, Kanye and stuff, but even Kanye had a lot of influence from Kid Cudi, you know what I'm saying? So Kid Cudi to me is one of them really underrated artists,
definitely.
of all time.
Definitely.
Man on the Moon is one of my favorite albums of all time.
Oh yes, I agree. That shit's so good. And what's that other one? Fuck. The one where he's that with the stars inside. I want to say it's Interstellar or some shit.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Whatever, but regardless, Kid Cudi is the fucking GOAT. He's a genius, bro. I especially love what I've really drawn out of his music is how he layers, how he hums a lot, how he layers his humming and he harmonizes the humming and he does a lot of panning and shit like that and raising certain frequencies in his voice that really get the color to come out, which I think is really cool. And a lot of music these days, I'm hitting shit. A lot of music these days don't pull out those colors.
They don't.
They all sound the same. Just generic trap beat, auto-tune, reverb. That's pretty much it.
I mean, yeah, you have all these artists that does that. You still have some like yourself that's hitting gems, but it's sad music nowadays, it feels like, especially for producers, you have to follow that trend. Well, honestly, for a person like myself, as a DJ, you don't need to do that. You don't need to follow the trend, like, be different. Because I feel like the ones who are different, like, think of all the decades. Like, Kanye, when he first came out, he was different. You know what I'm saying? Who was? Like I said, Kid Cudi was different. Wiz Khalifa was different. Lil Wayne at one point was very different.
Yeah.
To me, he's one of the godfathers of this whole
everything
movement.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Agreed.
So yeah, man. So what was when? So you said that you first started listening to hip hop at the end of high school.
Yeah.
Why you didn't really listen to hip hop like that?
Well, the thing is, dude, believe it or not, I used to not even like hip-hop that much. Like, people would put it on, and I'd be like, alright, whatever. Because, like, I was so brought up in this roots of, like, rock and roll, like, listening to rock music, listening to blues and shit, because I know Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, they do a lot of blues stuff, and those are, like, two of my favorite bands, So, like, I wasn't really, like, taking the time out of my schedule to, like, go out of the way and listen to new music, because I guess I was arrogant in that way, and I was also studying classical music, so, like, classical and hip-hop, those are, like, two completely different things, and it's kind of this stigma in the classical world that any music other than classical music is inferior, because of the hundreds and hundreds of years that practice has, which that's something I started realizing. I'm just like, dude, I don't really fuck with that, because, like, all music comes from the same place, bro. Like, music comes from Africa. There's no doubt about it. It started with, I don't know if it's voices or drums or percussion, but everything came from there, bro.
Yeah, from the motherlands, I always said that. Yeah.
Literally, bro. And people will argue that day in and day out, but that's where it came from, bro. And so, like, I kind of started realizing that I was having, like, this arrogant, two-faced vibe about it. And then my boy, he was just like, bro, you need to listen to this guy. And it was J. Cole. And I never heard J. Cole before. I probably heard, like, a single or some shit without even knowing it was him. Yeah. And I heard that shit, and the first shit I heard was Born Sinner, bro. That's, like, my favorite J. Cole
Born Sinner is my favorite album from him of all time. Like, Born Sinner is actually in my top 10 now, because me and my fiance, we both love J. Cole. The concert he did last year, that was my first ever concert going to ever. So, like, that experience was, like, J. Cole. I was joking around, but I was kind of serious. I like J. Cole, my favorite rapper of all time.
Nah, bro.
Because it's
so
like,
good.
It was my first concert, and he went back to his mixtape days, like Friday Night Lights.
Yeah, bro.
To the recent album he just put out. But yeah, Born Sinner is like a classic, man.
That's funny how you say he was your first concert, because he was my first concert too, dude. I saw him when he did 2014 on tour.
Yeah,
like,
man.
That shit was so good. And like you're saying, he threw it back to like Friday Night Lights shit. And dude, I think he even took it back to the warm up and shit.
Yeah, like, the warm up, all that stuff, man.
It was crazy. But he's definitely like in my top five.
Top five. So we gonna get into that later, because I was in that at the podcast.
All right.
But so yeah, you were saying that you was listening to J. Cole. Yeah. That's how you got into hip hop.
And yeah, that's really how I started getting into hip hop. Is I listened to Born Sinner, and I was just like, damn, this shit is good. This shit slaps. Like, and I started going through his shit, listening to Sideline Story, The Warm Up, Friday Night Lights, all that shit, all that good stuff. And then he dropped like half a year after, he dropped 2014 Fort Sales Drive, and I was just like, oh, dude,
that album was amazing.
Yeah, I love that album. It's really good too. And after that, like, I started listening to Kendrick, and I knew Kendrick more just because I feel like Kendrick was a little more mainstream at that time, because he had shit like Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe that came out, and like the Poetic Justice with Drake. Is that with Drake?
Well, yeah, Poetic Justice with Drake.
That's with Drake. And so, like, I knew Kendrick and shit, and Kendrick is probably my all-time, like, best, just because I like how versatile he is from project to project, it's always different. And I love the influences he gets from jazz music, too. Yeah. Bro, I'm a sucker for jazz.
Yeah, Kendrick, well, both Kendrick and J. Cole, they have an ear for music, and I said a couple podcasts ago, I said Kendrick is, like, the closest to pop, in my opinion. Like, he's the closest one that... for, kids that's under 21 that don't really know about Pac or even Biggie, but like more about Pac. If they listen to they can listen to Kendrick now, but they go back to Tupac, they're like, wow, like I could see the resemblance and stuff like that. So it's like he's the closest. And then J. Cole to me, he's the closest to Nas. Like dude. Nas, like I see, like a lot of people should compare J. Cole to Jay-Z, but I hear more Nas and J. Cole.
I feel with well, he has that song too, Let Nas Down. Yeah. And you could tell, like he says it in the song, he's been listening to Nas since he was a kid, bro. Yeah. And like you could tell from the cadence, the way they deliver, the storytelling quality of it. You know, like Jay-Z is, they're all from New York. Yeah. Bro. So like, well, J. Cole born in Carolina, but he's lives in New York for a minute, and like they all have that New York style, you know, like that New York quality. You can even throw Biggie in there too. They all sound similar. Yeah. But
now like, Jay-Z's the closest. He resembles Biggie. You know what I'm saying?
But like you're saying, like Jay-Z with Biggie, Cole with Nas. Yeah. It's just how it is. And Kendrick with Pac, dude. They're both from California. You know? Like it's. I feel like where you are located geographically has a lot to do with the sound you're making, bro. And like you could say from here, everyone from Florida, bro. Everyone from Florida has some crazy sound, some different sound, you know, that you never heard before. Yeah. So that's when people are like, "Oh, they're always from Florida. They're always from Florida." And bro, and that's where a lot of the new music is coming.
Yeah, but you gotta, it goes back to Trick Daddy. Miami was always known for like booty music and stuff, and also disco too back in the day, like way back in the day. But Trick Daddy was that first artist. Him and JT Money was them artists that, was about lyrics, in the music, you know what I'm saying? Even when it was like up-tempo music. So I feel like with them, you could hear a lot of influences from every, artist from Florida, you know what I'm saying? It just, all of y'all have y'all different type of flows, but you could hear bits of Trick Daddy and JT Money and everyone's lyrics because of they was the first ones to be like, you know what, we lyrical, because they had a lot of influence. You remember, Miami didn't really have hip hop down here. Like, from my mom and them just always telling me it was always either disco, gospel music, like R&B and stuff like that. They didn't really have hip hop, so they said they had to listen to artists from like New York and like the West Coast and stuff like that. So like when they came out and stuff, and you start seeing that change, like Rick Ross's, the Pitbulls, the Trinas. Now the Icebergs and things like that. Now y'all generation, with the Little Dreads and things like that. Like you can still see that trend, going. You know what I'm saying?
And I just want to say, like, shout out Iceberg. I don't think he gets enough credit, bro.
Iceberg, me and my friends, we had this discussion because when I was in high school, when we was all in high school, Iceberg was like the man, and he still is. I just feel like I know what he's trying to do. I think he's trying to be more like a Nipsey Hussle tech now. Like he's want to stay independent, but to me, I feel like every time I look back at it, like Iceberg should have been like Kodak.
Yeah, bro, like, right?
He shouldn't have had that same how you call it? That same hype in a way, because when Kodak came up, Kodak was just everywhere.
But it also is a different time back then too, because there wasn't all this influx of technology. Like I feel like what led a lot of these guys coming out now, like Kodak, Ski Mask, X, Lil Pump, Smoke Perp, all these guys, is their massive social media influences that they have backing them up, bro, and giving them that major cosign, bro. And someone even more mainstream than that, like Russ, bro. I don't know if you've seen Russ.
Oh, Russ hard.
He's got a crazy following, bro.
Russ is hard. Russ, my boy, shout out to my boy Carl. Carl put me on Russ last year, and Russ is like, he one of them artists that's like, he's them hitting gems.
I respect his hustle, bro, because he does everything by himself. The only thing I could say that I'm not really a fan of is just how arrogant he is, because he knows he's good, bro. And that's a double-edged sword, because there's a difference between confidence and when your confidence starts rubbing off people as cockiness, You could be confident in yourself, by all means, dude. I mean, that'll make you a better everything. If you're confident, believe in yourself. But it gets to a point, dude, where it just comes off the wrong way. Yeah.
Because I heard of that before, like in different like interviews and stuff. in different like medias, they'll bash Russ because of that.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, it's like I can't say he's sorry. Like some people will hear one